Can you imagine? What are we going to be talking about by episode 30?
I don't know. Can sounds come from a grave? And it's like puffy, but it's not thick.
Yeah.
I don't
That's how they describe me, puffy, but not thick.
God damn it, I was going to say that.
No, a robe.
we can get into towels, too. You want to know about my life?
This show is going to shit.
I know.
I just want to throw that out there.
All right, well, welcome back.
Welcome back to the show. God, we're not bringing more low energy. God damn it. Look, if you're going to listen to Lean, if you're going to drink Lean and listen to Rush, do it on your own goddamn time. I'm going to drink Lean
I thought we weren't
and
going to
listen
talk
to
about
Russ.
my hobbies. No one should listen to Russ. It's the Dapper Dads.
Welcome back to episode 15, kids. As you can tell, we've already had a dadderific evening before we got on here and started recording.
We've been around each other too much, and tensions are at an
Yeah, I
all-time
mean,
high.
we had a little soiree before this that we went to.
Sex party.
Little itty bitty orgy that we went to before this.
What constitutes a little itty bitty orgy?
I mean,
how many people? 4?
Five. Because
Four could just be
four
like
is just two
foursome.
people fucking each other. 5 is like there's an extra
a little
something
bit
there.
of
Yeah, it's a little
margin.
bit. You got to get that fifth off of
Little bitty.
Craigslist.
Yeah. So if you're on Craigslist and you're looking to have a little bitty orgy, I got a couple dads I can introduce you to. It's not us. It's just some guys.
Just some actual dads, and they're
physical dads.
not
Looking to be more dads.
all dad bods. No, nothing good to pick from here. These are like 4 out of 10s in the right light. But if you're wearing a mask and it's in the dark, they're solid 10s.
Hey, that's not a bad deal.
So welcome back to the show, everybody. Let's go ahead and get
we
we fucked this whole
that we
episode.
just ruined.
We just shit the bed on this one, kids. So let's go ahead and get the business stuff out of the way first, like we usually do. If you want to get a hold of us,
Yeah, this is going
this
great.
is terrible.
Woo!
Send us stuff at thedapperdads@gmail.com. Also check out www.thedapperdads.com for everything. We have streams live from the website. We have all the choices to choose from where you can listen to us. We are on iTunes, we are on Bandcamp, we are on Stitcher, we are on Google Play. Officially today, as of the recording of this episode, we did our first video on YouTube where it's not just the audio.
You can see us. There is some issues with the first
Hi,
one.
I'm waving from
Yeah,
this episode, so if you check it out today, I'm saying hello to
if
you.
you're listening, then go watch it. The first episode has some issues because we were testing some things out, but it was just too beautiful. And we referenced it far too many times in that podcast
to not
let it
have
exist.
a video component, yeah.
But now everything should be good. Knock on wood. Knock on your boners, boys.
Knock on your boners and peel your dicks like bananas.
But yeah, you can see the dungeon. You can see our stupid faces and the way we place our weird bodies when we get real
with
bored.
our weird misshapen bodies. If you want to have us talk about anything on the show, if you have an interesting story, a fact, something cool, or just an insane rambling that you want put out into the world, call or text 4027-DAPPER, which is also 402-732-7737. We will take anything. Call us, text us, anything crazy. We have a wonderful submission I'd like to get into later.
Yeah, we have our first
very lengthy talk-worthy submission,
very
I think.
serious.
This
we
is gonna
asked
be
for
good.
some serious shit, and boy did we get it.
You ask and the universe gives. You can't help that.
Yep, and yeah, that's good enough for the spiel.
Yeah, that's pretty much everything we
fucking
have.
find us.
So find us, chill with
dorks.
it, talk with us, please. We're very open people. Yeah, so open that we just do this show where we put our lives on blast every week.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
life.
forget what you say until someone brings it up.
Life gets a little dark, but it gets a little bright too. I mean, you don't got worse things could always happen than doing the show.
This is really madman rambling. You're like trying to cover all your bases.
That's all I'm doing all the time. I have such a high level of stress constantly that I have my fingers in 11 pies, and I'm like, they're all bad pies. And then I'm like, but my fingers are in them. I have to commit. God damn it! And then. Before I know it, I'm just covered in weird sticky fruit.
I think I'm just going to let you go this episode and see what happens.
This is going to turn.
I'm just going to lean back.
Yeah, so we came downstairs to a new chair down here in Drama's spot. I still have the same old chair, but shout out Matt until we get another
Matt
chair.
The God.
Also,
He also gifted us
with a beautiful gift, which you'll see in the video component, which is a bag of wrap snacks.
Yes, as you might have heard, these have been around for a bit.
Can I go put this up to the camera so people can get a better view of it?
Well, I'll splice it in or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Migos edition, which is sour cream with a dab of ranch.
And if you look on the back, it has all the Migos on the front. And then if you look on the back, it's a picture of Migos and a quote that says, "Dabbing is a lifestyle," with a quote by Migos. So it wasn't any of the individual Migos. It's like they, at one time,
that's what they could compile.
During the Joe Budden interview, they were just like, what's your favorite lifestyle? And all three were like, dabbing's a lifestyle, mama. And
these look like in person, this is like some nice packaging.
It's
These
great
look
packaging.
official.
We'll take a look at the back, too.
I feel like when I initially seen them pop up online, it was not this classy.
No,
They've
this
got
looks...
a QR code. They have an official @official snacks on Instagram and Snapchat. And I know there's some other flavors by some other artists. I don't know who and what.
Are we going to try these and review them on the air?
Maybe. I kind of want to eat them all by myself tomorrow.
That's fair. You can do that, too.
I will
let me know how they
yeah,
taste.
I will let you know how they are. But God, they are beautiful.
We at least got to keep the bag right up here with Comrade Bone Daddy.
Yeah, we're going to just get a collection of bullshit up there. But yeah, go get yourself some wrap snacks, wherever the fuck those are.
I know they have other rap snacks, but I'm not sure who the other rap...
Yeah,
Doesn't Future have one or 21
No,
Savage have one?
I don't think so. Those would be...
Lil Yachty has one. I know that.
Maybe. I feel like fucking like... P&B Rock has some. Or I remember someone that I was
Is P&B Rock
wow.
big enough to have a snack?
I mean,
he's got
anyone's
some
gonna
good shit out there.
we're gonna make some Dapper Dad snacks.
What would
just ears.
What I was gonna
that
ask.
I ripped off.
I was gonna ask what a Dapper Dad snack would consist of, but I think jerky ears is a good place to start.
Ears.
People just like they're good for dog treats. Like
Yeah,
they're like the pig
ears,
ears you get,
yeah.
but they're just human ears.
It's just the pig ears.
The first package is gonna be both of our ears, so whoever orders the
Yeah.
first pack of Dapper
We're like
snacks.
Picasso with this shit. Is that right? Did Picasso cut his ear off?
Yeah, for love.
Yeah. So,
Crazy shit.
So every time you've told a girl you loved her, just remember you still have your fucking ears, you fucking liar. You can hear your lies as you tell her you love her and don't give her one of your ears.
If you're with a woman
What if you
and
give her someone's ear? Better or worse?
like your own like a strange ear and like a ring box.
Yeah, random ear.
I feel like that would raise some questions unless there was like an
Because
established...
my ear wouldn't raise any questions.
Well, at least it's your ear. The established boundary within giving your ear to somebody is that, hey, notice this bandage on my head? Well, here's why. And then you should give them the ear in a ring box. If you show
trying
up...
to hold my hand?
If you show up with both of your ears intact, and then you're like, here's an ear, my first thought is going to be, whose ear is this? I'm going to assume it's a vagrant at first, because I'm going to assume it's not someone you know and love. So I'm going to assume you sought out a random person.
Maybe you shouldn't make assumptions because that makes an ass out of you and me.
So-
you shouldn't assume. Fuck. God damn it. Fuck.
So
Edit
now...
that out. You shouldn't assume because that makes an ass out of you and me.
The
Thank you, episode 15.
The worst part is you're going to take that out in post to make yourself look better, you piece of shit.
No, I'm not because the video is too much work. So
That's right.
We can't edit like
Thanks for putting everything on film, drama.
we can censor things, but we can't edit out. So
No.
you're getting the uncut. I mean, we'll say something eventually.
Oh,
so
yeah,
if you're
no.
ever watching and there's a sudden jerk in the film, it's because one of us said something that we just can't have
We
out
just
there.
can't have
and
on the
based
air.
based off of the things that we do put out there, just imagine what we can't put out there.
Like we said, for $40,000 an episode, you could have the Dapper Dads After Dark, but it's got some stuff in there.
Yeah, it's weird that no one has taken up on
It's
that.
so odd. You'd think we would get one request saying, I would like one $40,000 subscription with asking the address they can send a money order to.
Yeah,
Or
I
at
mean,
least, actually...
2 years of my salary for one episode, not
That's-
a bad deal.
And that's some premium. Like, if you're trying to, like, take down the Dapper Dads, this is the deal of a lifetime, because there is some...
If you want to end
Ooh.
this, God.
If you just have a personal vendetta against either Drama or myself, the only way to get your revenge is $40,000 in small bills.
It's cheap, in my opinion.
It's very cheap, just like us.
Yeah, we're cheap whores. Episode 15.
Episode
Thanks for
15,
showing
everybody.
up.
Thanks for
15.
listening to this shit.
God.
It feels like a milestone getting to 15. It's one
I
of those
know, I
numbers
think
like...
every 5 now is going to make me happy.
Yeah, because it's like, 15 is like, wow, when we double our current output, we're going to have 30 episodes.
Holy shit.
Can you imagine? What are we going to be talking about by episode 30?
I don't know. Can sounds come from a grave?
Can you do a talk show from beyond the grave? The Dapper Dads find out more
God.
from hell.
The Dapper Dad's live
From hell. Just
It's so hot.
It's so hot. Everything's hot and sticky.
I have tits on my head. It's a good movie.
Is that
it's
it?
a good movie? It's a good movie.
It's a great movie.
I hate the slander. It's a good movie. We're not going to say it. It's only for true soldiers.
It's only
that are
for true ones, for the real ones out here.
So it feels like it's been a decade since I've seen you.
It has. It's
You've
been a long
changed a
time.
lot.
You have also changed a
Used
lot.
to be cool.
Yeah, you used to be much. How do I put this? better at everything you do.
Yeah.
You
that's
somehow have gotten more lackluster since the last time I've seen you.
That's all I'm really trying to do in this life.
Well, I think a big part of it is you got a lot of it. I think there's a lot of fear that comes with seeing Birdman in person, and so I feel like
transition.
I feel like seeing Birdman in person will take a lot out of a man, especially when you were as close to the stage as you were. So why don't we get into how drama was at the Big Tymer's reunion show? First of all, topical. Second of all, the Big Timers reunion.
I think that's the opposite of topical because they've been gone for like a decade.
That's what I'm saying. It's the Is
it irony?
It's ironically topical. Yeah, I'm trying to ironically explain what
explain irony.
I'm ironically mansplaining to you what irony is.
So yeah,
I'm not going to manspread while I listen to your story about the Big Timers
don't
reunion.
Don't distract me too much. So I took yet another trip to Chicago. Holy shit. Get back up here, you stupid
My
bitch.
chair leans back, too.
We're all on lean.
Monday morning, Mimi's drive.
I will edit this out. One long beep. I don't know what this is. So, all right, die already.
I'm trying.
So I went.
Shit, me too.
I went to Chicago yet again.
Just move there.
No, never. No.
Live on the Metro. Let's really be trained people.
Don't bring that up. This one, I think was pretty flawless. There was a slight hiccup we'll get into. I think this is my last one for the year, my last trip.
We'll see.
Hanging up the hat, trying to hibernate. I've done a lot, as you've heard. I've done more that I haven't even told this podcast. I do a lot of shit, and I'm tired. I've been tired for 6 months.
I've had a Simon and Garfunkel song stuck in my head for 7 years.
Have I said that? It's Cat Stevens. Wild World has been stuck in my head for over 8 years. I've just been saying 8 years for the past 3 years. It's an easy decade.
Yeah.
Literally, I'll just be having a normal day and then just, ooh, baby, baby, it's a wild world. Do-do-do-do-do-do. All the fucking time. So is that the best song or the worst song or just...
Well, I think it kind of varies because I've decided that everybody has like a song, whether it's necessarily a real song or not. Because hear me out. Here's where my evidence. Here's where my evidence for this comes from. My dad constantly growing up, and still to this day, when he's just kind of like milling around the house or just like doing dishes, he's just like. And it's that tune every time. And one day I was like, is that a song or something? Because it sounds like it could be like some chipper like Disney music out of like a 20s movie. So I was like, was that like some song you heard as a kid and like it just stuck with you? And he's like, no, I've just always done it. Just when I'm thinking, I'm just kind of like
That's how you know he's a crazy person.
So I think that's one of my triggers because I'm just sitting there and I hear like
You hear when you're alone in your house and you look everywhere and it gets gradually louder and closer
until it's everywhere, and I'm just
it's in your head and you lose your mind. I also there's a Third Eyed Blind song I believe it's called Graduate, and it just goes, can I graduate? And it's like, to the bastard talking down to me.
And that just pops up sometimes.
Yeah, that's like my second one. My sister was a huge Third Eyed Blind fan when she was like younger, and I was very young. But that wasn't like it's not a go-to song.
Yeah, it's not like something she listened to.
It's not like the one Third Eyed Blind song or the Jumper song. Like
right.
They're two like songs. It's a fucking deep cut, and that thing pops up in my head for no reason.
This is gonna make
worse than Wild World.
No, this is worse. This is gonna make me sound like a vain, crazy person. So probably 4 years ago at this point now, I used to write a lot of music. And I wrote a song that I never finished. I just like wrote the music for it, but didn't really flesh out any words for it.
Is that the foot fucking me?
You wish.
Yeah.
Wish I just took my foot and just like spun it around in your ass like this.
Hell yeah. But with the video, we can't do that anymore.
Oh, we can absolutely do it with the video. That's the whole point of the video.
I'm going to fall out of it. I almost jumped out of the chair.
$40,000 and you can see my foot in Drama's ass. Spinning around like a rotisserie chicken.
$40,000.
That's it? That's what it would take?
I mean, that's a lot of money.
That's like 2 years salary.
Yeah,
up front.
It's like 4 years salary for me.
You need a new job or a hobby.
Yeah, I'm trying to move bricks. Anyway,
so the song, I wrote a song. I never finished it. I just had the melody and like the music worked out. And that gets stuck in my head constantly when I'm just doing like menial work or I'm just like doing something repetitive. I'm just like, and I just kind of like go through the tune. And it's so awful.
You've become your dad.
No, I haven't. In a way, I've become my dad in that way, and I just want to die.
We've all become
I
our
just want to
dads.
fucking die. But then in the other vein, it's like I feel like a crazy person because the only way I can get that song out of my head is if I listen to it, because that's the only way I get songs out of my head is by listening to them. And I can never listen to it because I wrote it and I never finished writing it, and I don't have the time or the patience or the creativity to sit down and finish the song.
This is how people go crazy.
This is I've been.
Yeah, I know. But
I
this is
woke
how
up
people
like
go
this.
super crazy.
I said that a lot at work this week, and one of my new coworkers was like, "You say that a lot," and I was like, "Because I woke up like this.
Yeah, because I
This
wake
is
up
how I
every
wake
day
up.
until I don't.
Because
That's how the world works.
Because I wake up and then one day I won't, and you won't see me anymore, and you're gonna regret telling me I said that too much."
All right, but anyway, so I went to Chicago. Me and shout out Cole, who's just always my second half when we're going to do these wild things.
Shout out Cole. We're going with him in February to go see Brockhampton, correct?
Yes, we are.
Yes, I
Big,
was.
big Brockhampton squadron. We got Matt the God, Cole, me, you, and some of Cole's friends too. We're gonna be deep in that bitch, crying. We're gonna all cry because it's so great.
I want to be as close to the stage as possible. And when they play Junkie, I would just want to scream till my voice gives out, "Feeling like a gunner, a box it up."
I know. Oh, we're all gonna scream that.
Oh,
Maryland doesn't even have to be there.
I've been listening to the Brockhampton albums constantly because I want to memorize everything before I go to the show. Because like my big problem with shows is like I'll get really. There's only been like 3 instances where I've been like really into something and then I go see them, and it's like it's perfect because I just scream along every word and it's so good. But what usually happens is I'll go see a band and I'll be like kind of into them and I'll be like, it's just cool to go see them live, you know. But then seeing them live completely changes how I view them.
Yeah.
And then I really that one sounded gross.
No more burps. That's the end of the era, folks. Slim ruined it by what was borderline puke.
It's not my fault.
You know a borderline puke. Oh, God.
Slim's
We're
actually
disgusting
dying.
people.
I'm actually dying this week, kids. It's gonna happen on air.
Finally.
Oh God, no. But I've been. The one band this was really good was what I saw, the legendary Shack Shakers in Chicago. And I was really into them. I was actually in a rockabilly band at the time when I went to go see them, and so we did like a band field trip and we all just went. We were front stage. It was fantastic. But they played a bunch of their back catalog, which is like something I wasn't that into.
Yeah.
And it's like I got such a huge appreciation for it seeing them.
It does suck seeing live when you're like, oh, I don't know all these songs. But then afterwards you're like, fuck, I love these songs. And then you're like, fuck, I wish I would have knew
Because
these
you wish you were
songs.
so pumped up when it was live.
Yeah, because that's how it was at the Front Bottoms. Like one of their encores, they gave us the option of one song that I really like and one song I had like heard once or twice, and I was like, fuck, they went with that one. And now currently right now I'm obsessed with that song, and I'm like, fuck, I wish I would have known because it was probably even better. I remember it, but I would have been like, oh,
so I'm trying to memorize every single Brockhampton song before we
I'm
go.
already there.
I'm just not there with it because there's so many goddamn parts to remember all the time. And then I got to censor myself during certain songs because like
a
lot of censorship because there's going to be some things I probably shouldn't be screaming at the Brockhampton show.
Exactly. That's the weird downfall. But yeah, I'm very excited.
If you can get tickets, come party with the dads. It's February 16th.
Yes, Saturday, February 16th at the Rave in Milwaukee. It will be. Brockhampton is phenomenal. Like,
They're a fantastic
I don't think
group.
people realize how great they are. And God, it's the 2 albums they've put out are my 2 albums of the year for sure. Like, there's nothing.
I'm lumping it as
that.
one album of the year.
And the third one's supposed to be out before the year's over.
That's going to be rough because I'm going to have to memorize a whole nother album of music before we go.
So much music. So yeah, if you want to like dive deep into some shit, there's like already a nice catalog out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, come to that show. If it's not sold out, they're incredible.
Yeah, please come party with us. We're going to be in Milwaukee all day with a squad full of dads.
Yes.
So it's going to be pretty fantastic. So if you want a taste of that Dapper Dad life, come get rowdy with us at Brockhampton, February 16th at the Rave in Milwaukee.
Yes, you've got time. And I'm very excited. I think that'll be my first show back. I'm hibernating.
Yeah.
I just went to what
But Lil Uzi Vert is going to be in Chicago at the end of December, man. Come on.
I know. People keep doing this, and I said I was taking a break. We'll see. We'll get into it.
Because I'm going to have some guala from work by the end of the year that I'm going to want to blow on some stupid shit.
Well, we'll get into that.
I guarantee you in 3 weeks you're going to be like, so Lil Uzi Vert tickets, yeah? And I'm going to be like, yeah.
Probably. Anyway, so we went up to Chicago. You know where we went first.
Richards.
You know what we did? We popped into Richards.
Which I'm beginning to believe should just become a Dapper Dad's tradition anytime either one of us is in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless of the part we're in.
If I'm in Chicago at any point now, like, that's definitely probably the first stop, but definitely.
Well, it's just a bar that feels so quintessentially Chicago to me. It's got the wood paneling. It's got, like, the old Cubs pictures and the gangsters pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
You got these old, like...
And you could just fucking smoke.
And you can just smoke and have a beer.
Especially this time, it was cold the day we went. It was cold and rainy, but luckily we weren't in the rain too much. And yeah, just like not having to stand outside in the cold and be like, why do I even fucking smoke cigarettes? Like when it's December and I'm at the bar and I'm outside and I'm not super drunk, I'm like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So yeah, Richards is fantastic. If anyone's in Chicago, go to Richards. It's on North Milwaukee. I believe it's 491 North Milwaukee. That's how much I've been there recently.
Jesus.
I must recommend it. So yeah,
get the eggs and tell us how the eggs are.
Yeah, someone else get the eggs.
Tell us how Richard's eggs are.
If you go to Richard's bar and you get the eggs and like film it or take a photo, we will give you something.
Yeah, we'll give
you a piece of Dapper Dad's merch.
Yeah,
Ooh.
so not to spoil anything, but there's some stuff in the works here. So if
we got some things in the pipeline,
we're whipping up some dabs in the dope box. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah. We'll give you drugs.
Yeah.
Allegedly,
supposedly.
So yeah, we stopped in there, tied on a few. Went to Sugar. I didn't buy anything because I've been there so much recently that I like have their fucking inventory memorized. I think Cole got something. Oh yeah, he got the Front Bottoms record. The new one. Beautiful. Go cop that. Then we popped into that arcade bar Emporium. And then there were two other stores that I've been trying to go to, but they're like way out of the way. This show was at the Portage Theater, which I've never been to. It's way down on Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of in the neighborhood. So we went to Bric-a-Brac Records. It's like fucking, you would love it. It's like record store plus like 80s, 90s memorabilia. That's where the Snapchat of the big Homer.
Yeah.
That's what I got there because I like seen it right as we walked in. There's so much Simpsons shit.
Good.
So much
we got to go back sometime.
I know. Like when I was in there.
Bric-a-Brac Records?
Yeah, Bric-a-Brac Records. I don't remember what road it's on, but it's up north a little bit. It was fucking incredible. They had good records too, but I saw that Homer and I was like, fuck, I have like a little Bart and like I have a ton of Simpsons shit, but I saw it and I was like, fuck, that thing's sick. Like it's huge. And I went over anticipating it to be like $40 or something. It was $8.
Really?
It's like, of course I'm going to buy this.
It was begging to be bought.
Yeah, they had like a Marge and a Lisa too that were smaller. And I was like, this Homer's sick. So, yeah, that store is incredible. Yeah, everything about it. They had like a bunch of horror movie like memorabilia and stuff. Like basically our aesthetic.
So we'll have to check it out next time we're in the town.
Yeah, definitely. Then we popped over to Bucket O Blood Records, which is like, it was pretty cool. They specialize in like a lot of punk stuff and like horror movies. They have a fuck ton of horror movies, but I also like don't buy DVDs anymore.
Yeah,
and they had VHS too.
Ooh.
And they had like a ton of books. I guess you could consider it like almost mostly a bookstore, but then like books, records, DVDs, some like other fun knickknacks and stuff. I didn't find anything there. I was a little disappointed. I think I was thinking better in my head, like punk records and horror movies is like my fucking shit, and I was kind of underwhelmed, but it was still definitely like worth checking out if that's like up your alley. It seemed real nice. Then we like popped across the street. There's a bar called, I think it's like Beer Temple or something, and we just got a beer there because I'd seen online like it's across the street and people were like, just go over there if you're at the record store. So we popped in. It's like a small tap room, and then it's also like a liquor store. I got this Revolution beer. I can't explain it. It was like this thing in the wall and they had to pump the beer out, kind of like
Weird.
a well.
Yeah.
And so it's just like spurts of beer.
Sounds like a hipster bar.
I didn't know. It's like the way it's tapped. It's like a new Revolution. It's Eugene Porter, I think is the name. And I think the way it's made, it has to be served like that way. Mm-hmm. I didn't know. So when it was happening.
What do you mean has to be served that way?
Something with the coffee. I don't know. Like it's because like I read about.
Sounds like a bunch of hipster bullshit if you want my personal opinion.
I read about their canning process has to be different for it. I don't know anything about it. It just looked ridiculous, and I didn't know that's how. I'd seen the thing on the wall, and I was like, I don't know what that is. I don't care.
Just a weird pump.
And I was like, oh shit.
Because they want you to think you're like what, getting your beer from an old time soda junkie back in the 40s. Like what is the aesthetic goal with this?
I don't know. I feel like it's more about the process, but what do I know? I just want to drink a beer. I was trying to get one classy one, and that was the classiest one I could get. I guess I didn't know.
That sounds like something you get at like an Irish pump house back in the 30s when they got done.
The Irish pump house is in the alley, if you know what I mean. we're winking hard.
The Irish pump house is right outside the dungeon.
So then after that, it was about the time to head over to where the show was going to be at, to the venue. I was trying to go to a bar up the street and keep the drinking going, but they did the shirt thing again, which in the video I'm wearing, and it said this time it's only 100 people. So when we pulled up in front of the venue it was at, there was like a little bit of a line, and we wanted the shirts. We got the Thug shirt. We need this shirt. So I was like, fuck it, let's just stand in line. It was like probably 40 minutes or something in line. Ended up securing the shirt. For those who don't want to look at the fucking YouTube video, it is a long sleeve pink shirt.
It looks fantastic.
This was fakeshoredrive.com, is a blog that's been around for Chicago for a decade. This was their 10th anniversary. So the clothing company from Chicago, Juggernaut, collabed with Fake Shore Drive. They made this. The back is fucking incredible.
It's beautiful.
And yeah, we were like, we seen online what they would look like, and we had to get them. So they give you these tokens, just like with the Thug one. You go in and get them. So we secured the shirt, and then they again, shout out Red Bull. This shit is insane. They had the old timey sticker machines where you put in the quarters and it comes out with that cardboard shit.
Nice.
So they were free, and you pull it out and it's like a holographic Fake Shore Drive, like the flyer for
that
this.
Is nice.
And then a holographic Red Bull one. I got like 4 of them, and then they had the little bubble thing quarter machines, which were also free, and they had a pin for the show in those.
That is awesome.
So there's so many little touches.
See, I'd love it if when we get to live events we can do cool shit.
Oh
like
yeah,
that,
yeah. When I seen it, I was like, oh, I got to do some shit like this. And then they had, it's like an old movie theater, and when I looked at the pictures online, there was a ton of chairs. So I'm like, is this seated? I initially told Cole, I think it's seats, and I'm like, I haven't been to a seated concert in
And how are you gonna go to a Big Timers union if it's seated?
So what it ended up being, it's a fucking gigantic building, and there are a bunch of seats, but then there's also a huge open area. And surprisingly, there's a lot of people sitting in the seats.
Weird.
People, I thought maybe older people, but then it was kids my age and shit. So I was like, all right, whatever.
Because I wasn't looking to get rowdy at the Big Timers reunion.
I know.
The babysitter's only going to be there till 12 before she asks for $20 an hour.
So the venue sells beer, $8 tall boys, but they had a $7 hams. So I had to go with the $7 hams,
Disgusting.
save $1. Hams is not my favorite, but it's very chuggable. I think only because I dislike it. So I'm just like, ooh, get it down. And then they had more, with Thug, they did the cocktails that were for Thug. They did ones for the Fake Shore Drive, so we got the anniversary, and it was fucking delicious. And they had some other topical ones. So then we get up there, DJ's going. They had a host guy. Everything was chill. And then there's so many people involved in this. So at first, I think it was Femdot, who is a person I'm not familiar with. I was getting a drink through most of their performance because it took forever, so I kind of missed out on that. And then I can't remember the exact order of things, but overall what happened was the Cool Kids, Twista, GLC, Bump J, fresh out of prison.
Yeah, how was that?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was happy for him, just being out of prison. He seemed very excited to be up there. I've never really listened to his music because he's been in prison for 7 years. And I remember him having the song with Kanye way back, but I didn't really pay attention to him. But it felt nice for Chicago, and you could tell people were excited. King Louie, Herbo.
Which oh God, I was so happy to get your snaps during.
I know.
Did he do everything too, or no?
No, he did that. I'm rolling. That was the first one. The second one I didn't recognize.
Well, he does have some back catalog.
Yeah, I know his first mixtape really well, and then the in between stuff I'm not familiar with. He did a song with Bump J that I know is off the new album. That might have been the second song, because everyone only did a handful of songs. So many people, and then he fucking did me and Cole were fucking waiting for that shit. We'd been listening to it in the car. I've been obsessed with that song since you showed it to me.
You're welcome.
And then I didn't hear the whistles, and it took me a second to even tell what it was. And then it was the surprising thing through this entire show, everyone just stood. People were dancing, having a great time, but no one pushed up. This was one of the shows where there's been the most space around me.
Really?
Everyone was very cordial, and it was sold out. It's a huge venue. There is not a time where there's moshing or pushing or anyone running forward.
Weird.
Yeah, it was the most chill crowd. Everyone was super into it. And I know Big Timers, obviously there's a lot of older people, But still, like, there's a bunch of kids like me. At first, like, when stuff started happening, people, like, pushed up to get closer. But then everyone, like, gave them space. Like, there's so much space. It's very calm.
Weird.
Which was, like, a nice break because I just got to pay attention. And there wasn't anyone, like, I don't fuck with the Big Timers like that. When we got the tickets, it was T Grizzly was the other, like, main headliner they were going with.
Mm-hmm.
So we got it just based off that and special guests, which ended up being all the other people I just listed. And then the Big Timers came out, and I was like, oh, yeah, like, the fucking Get Your Roll On was the first rap song I memorized front to back as a 12-year-old, which is a disgusting song for a 12-year-old to be rapping.
Still.
And then, like, obviously, Still Fly and, like, all that shit. But, yeah, so then it was all those people. T Grizzly came out. I'm not super familiar. He played that song that he has with Yachty, which is one of the few ones I like.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, my stomach was killing me. So I was like, fuck, I need, like, Big Time. I thought I was going to have to leave the crowd before Big Timers.
Really?
And you know what that means to me. Like, if I was like, fuck. I don't know if
that means you had to
here.
literally be, like, bleeding in your stomach.
I know. It hurt so bad, and I don't know what it was. But luckily,
maybe it was
like,
that disgusting beer you bought for $7.
Yeah, there was a lot of drinks I hadn't eaten, but I do that all the time, which isn't good, but whatever. So then every time there was, like, a song I recognized, it helped me, like, stop thinking about it. And there's so much T Grizzly shit that I didn't know that I couldn't, like, not focus on how bad my fucking stomach hurt. So luckily he ended up wrapping it up. He was good, just I don't know enough and my stomach hurt so bad. And then finally Manny Fresh comes out. Like, then the DJ is like, I'm gonna take y'all back, and, like, proceeds to play shit forever. And you could tell he's, like, looking behind the curtain like, are we fucking doing this? I thought for sure they were gonna be like, they're not coming out. Like,
yeah,
they still have issues. So finally Manny Fresh comes out and has, like, the fresh, and he looks old.
Yeah.
And then finally Birdman just comes looming out.
Looming is an appropriate word for him, because
it's like he just, like, levitated in, smoking a blunt, sunglasses on, face covered in tattoos, looks also painfully old.
Yeah.
And then they proceed to just go through a ton of shit, some Big Timer shit. They were playing, like, other stuff too, like songs like Manny had produced. Birdman is still such a petty asshole that anytime they played a Lil Wayne song that Manny Fresh had produced, Birdman would leave the stage.
Really?
Yeah.
What
like,
a piece of shit.
And it was just, yeah, it was very weird. It was very interesting to see. It's like a once in a lifetime event, but it wasn't one of those ones you're normally like, oh, once in a lifetime event.
Right.
It's more like it was once in a lifetime. I definitely
For good
saw
reason,
some
yeah.
shit. And it was interesting. Like I said, I don't know enough of their songs. They did, like, a separation of the crowd, like, this side makes some noise for this song, and it was very, like, set up to where, like, Birdman got, like, I Don't Like in fucking Chicago, so everyone on his side went up, and then Manny Fresh got, like, another Chicago song that went up. So it was a very interesting thing to see overall with all those performers, like, back to back. Like, I'd never seen Cool Kids. I had seen, like, a bunch of the other people. I think Cool Kids and, like, T Grizzly and Big Timers were the only ones I hadn't seen before. But it was, like, just back to back. Chance was up there watching everyone, but then didn't surprise, because they were like, there might be more special guests, and then it wasn't. It was everyone that's on the goddamn shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was quite a thing to see, and quite an event. Then Manny Fresh is, oh yeah, this is the best part. So they play Back That Ass Up. And they're like, they have a hype man as well. And the hype man's like, I need to see Chicago's finest up on the stage. So he points at some girl in the front row and he goes, you in the sequins. She had a sequin shirt on. He's like, get up here. And I need you too. So he gets two girls up there. And they're like, all right, we're going to play Back That Ass Up. And you guys got to shake it. So I don't know if they, like, weren't really into it or didn't realize they were going to have to be shaking their ass in front of, like, a sold out theater.
Yeah.
But they get up there and were not very into it. And they're like, come on, Chicago. This is all you have. Manny Fresh is, like, leaning against the DJ decks, just, like, watching them. And he's like, come on, get it. Like, an old man, essentially, just standing there watching two young females shaking their ass on the stage.
And there's been enough upsetting with Hollywood recently that I don't need that visual. I don't need Manny Fresh preying on young women from Chicago.
And he looks like a frog stood up and put pants on. Like,
he does.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's like the frog that turned into the prince, but, like, got stopped halfway through and it turned into Manny Fresh.
Yeah. So he's watching these.
I want to produce that movie.
Yeah, let's do it. Send us some money.
Manny Fresh, let us make this with you. Be our half fucked up frog prince, and the Dapper Dads present a real love story.
But then they kicked the one girl off, and the other girl who was trying to give something stayed up there. And then Manny wasn't feeling it. So he goes,
Frog Boy needs 2 bitches.
yeah. And he says, I can't remember the exact wording, but something along the lines of, man, your baby daddy must be so disappointed in front of a fucking soul. Everyone just is like, oh, like I felt bad for
Like,
her.
why?
She didn't sign up for that.
No, she just got pulled on stage.
And just, yeah, it's like, you fucking heartless bastard.
It is
Holy
the
shit.
Happy Old Timers reunion, everybody.
Yeah. And so then it's over, and we were expecting like some sort of surprise, and it all just kind of dissipated. And then Manny Fresh offhandedly is like, oh, I'm DJing at East Room. East Room was where we were at after the Jeff Rosenstock after party for Revolution Oktoberfest, and it was lit where I got way too drunk.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, shit, should we go? Like, we have time. It was fucking daylight savings time, so over the course of this night, it just time went backwards, which I've had on 3 separate occasions this happened now. So you're like driving and the GPS says the time, and then your clock's, and I can't explain it. It becomes such a mind fuck.
That time, you realize time's a fabricated illusion and nothing really matters anymore.
Yeah, because then you're like, oh shit, I thought it was 2, but it's 1, and I don't know what's going on.
Because the clock goes from 1:59 to 1, and you get to see 2 a.m.
Yeah, and it's fucking, it's very weird.
Which, per my understanding, is either a blessing or a curse, depending on why you're up at those 2 different 2 a.m.s.
Yeah, it was a blessing up until this. We tried to go to East Room. I stopped and got food at the Mexican restaurant that we had stopped at previously for the after party, and the line is fucking insane. And we stood there probably 20 minutes total, maybe more. But like it moved a couple steps at first, and then it was just deadlocked. And it's one of those things where like they're at capacity. So you have to, I don't know how long the line was, maybe 30, 40 people ahead of us. It's also one of those things where there's just a mob of people. So you don't even know who the fuck is, like where they're at in line and what's going on. People's friends are coming up and getting closer in line. But it's like that many people have to leave before we can get in.
Right.
And we both won. I wish we wouldn't have even heard Manny Fresh say it, because we would have just went home. Perfect day. Everything else went great. We stood there, and it was so hard to leave. But it was also like, I don't know if we're even going to get in. We could get in, and he could be done. We could just never get in.
Right.
They're open until 4, and we've already doubled an hour at some point. So this is all becoming a crazy nightmare. And yeah, my voice was like gone from, I don't even know what I was screaming, just screaming. And so then we ended up going home, and that part was lackluster. So shout out Manny Fresh. Hopefully I get to see you DJ at the East Room, because
it'll
it's
happen.
weird. But the rest of the day was great. If you get to see the Big Timers, I guess go see them, because it's something to see.
It's
But shout out Red Bull again. Like,
yeah, shout out Red Bull, seriously, for bringing all this great entertainment this month.
Like, that
real.
show alone is insane. Doug was crazy. These fucking shirts, they give away shit at all the shows, and they've still got, at this point, 20 more days or 21 more days.
Like, how do they do it? Do they just must drink a lot of Red Bull to keep this up?
Yeah, that's what you need to do. So yeah, go buy a Red Bull, tweet at them, tell them the Dapper Dads love them, get in contact with them, tell them we love them and we should collab.
I would love to do
Dapper
a collab
Dads
with Red Bull.
X Red Bull.
Dapper Dads
Fucking
X
make
Red Bull
something.
live podcast recording in Chicago. First 100 people get a Dapper Dads shirt and an exclusive Bucket Hands bucket.
Yeah, there you go.
First 100 people
we got
get
ideas.
First 100 people get a Bucket Hands bucket of Dapper Dads merchandise, which we have some ideas for.
I love it. Yeah, you guys are gonna be happy. So yeah, that was my my main event. Then I spent Sunday. Got home at, I don't know when, because time
is fucked up.
And then the next day I woke up, and then half of my clocks make me feel like I slept in, and the other half just confused me.
My phone was right. My microwave was wrong. I threw the phone into the microwave.
Do you fix clocks right away?
Not right away, but like what happens
I just fixed the ones that don't automatically update yesterday, because I was finally like, I'm losing my mind. My car is still wrong, so the whole ride here I was like, I'm so late.
No, my car is the first thing I fixed, because that's the first one I noticed. The day after daylight savings time, I had to be at work at 8 a.m, and so I was driving to work, and of course I'm exhausted and not awake for the first 4 hours after I wake up, and I looked over at my clock and it said 8:59, and I was like, shit, I'm late.
Yeah,
so I drove faster,
do.
but then I'm like, wait a minute, everything's all right.
Yeah, I hate daylight saves, and now it's dark on my drive here.
I don't mind it, because like you can do more stuff in the dark.
Yeah, but I don't have as much like hood rat agenda anymore.
We are on 2 different waves, my friend. My agenda is nothing but hood rat shit.
I just hate when it's so dark. Like, if it got dark, it gets
it's not
dark
that
at
it's
like
dark,
4:30.
It's not that it's dark, it's that it's cold now. It's just so cold.
I can deal with the cold.
I fucking hate
if it's
the
cold
man.
and it's sunny, like I
That's
love
one
those
thing, yeah.
days. But yeah, then fucking 4:30, it's the sun's going down and it's fucking
And then
cold
everything's dead and cold and everything sucks.
and
Life
it's
gets
weird.
so
I don't
dark
like driving
so
in
early.
the dark.
No, I like driving in the dark, but only in certain circumstances.
Yeah,
like
same.
coming home from work at 4:30 in the afternoon, I don't want it to be a dark already.
I know, that's what I mean. And then you get like later in the year, it gets to where you like wake up and it's dark, and then by 4:30 it's dark, and then
Yeah.
you're like, life's dark. Life's literally got
well
dark.
because my shifts at work, if I go in at like 8, it's dark outside.
Yeah.
The whole day goes by. I leave at 4:30, sun's going down. It's like, well, shit.
Good old seasonal depression.
Thanks everybody for giving me
And
a
we
case
don't
of
need
this.
daylight savings time, right?
No,
It's
it's
just
actually
pointless.
it's just a pointless because daylight savings actually comes from like farming schedules, so they could adhere to like. There's no reason for a society that we have to keep doing this at all.
The Dapper Dads are gonna stop. I was gonna say global warming, which we can get to, but
I would like it.
First, we need
gotta
the
stop
days to
daylight
make more
savings.
sense.
Once the days make more sense, we
From
can
this.
save what happens on the day-to-day basis.
So yeah, how was your time without me?
Well, I didn't get to see Birdman, so there's that as a downfall.
Hey, I don't know if it's good or bad. That was the biggest conflict, is he's not a good person.
No,
but I was
at
like, this
all.
is something to see.
So if Birdman does end up hearing this, we can't justify that you're a good person.
No, I've
but-
heard a lot of bad things about him. Actually, he's a horrible person,
Yeah.
and you could tell that they also thought the crowd was like just for them. Like, wow, they kept saying like, "Wow, Chicago, you really showed up." It's like there was like several other really good special guests. G Herbo, the crowd for him, like.
was
We
lit.
like him. Chicago fucking loves him.
Yeah, because
There
G
was
Herbo
one
is
bitch when they were DJing before they played some Herbo shit. She looked like someone who would never have even heard the name, screaming every word like right off the bat when the DJ started. Like Chicago loves him. G Herbo's great. Go listen to him.
we love G Herbo.
We've referenced many songs. Go
He's-
listen to the Spotify playlist.
Yes.
He was on this one too.
That's something we didn't plug either. We just updated we have a new Spotify playlist on there now. The cover is,
Yeah, which when this comes out, it will have been the prior week.
but it'll still be out.
Yeah, it's every other Wednesday. That's how I'm going to say it. That's how it makes
other
sense.
Wednesday.
Every other Wednesday. Dapper
So-
Dads on Spotify. Go to, it's linked in the description of the episodes, actually, and you can click on it and get directed right to it. Otherwise, go to the Facebook page. Every other Wednesday. Brand new playlist of hot shit for you to
So-
look cool in front of your friends.
It is a fantastic playlist. I was just listening to it offhandedly yesterday, and I was like, "Shit, this is some good stuff." And then the Spotify radio that comes from it too is also pretty fantastic.
I
Because
hate
it's a
how
good.
that works though, because sometimes like people will make me playlists and then I'm
Mhm.
not paying attention. I'm like, this is a weird pick, and then it's
Yeah.
like Spotify radio, and I'm like, no,
No, this is not what I
I
wanted.
want to know what people want me to hear, not your other shit.
Yeah.
So make sure if they're playing any garbage, make sure you double check that it says it's from us, because we'll give you some garbage, but it's
But
certified.
we want it to be our garbage.
Yeah, it's our garbage.
It's an ID3 tagged piece of garbage.
Boom, boom.
Boom, doo, dun, dun, dun. Just zooms in on our faces for no reason. The only super eventful thing, I keep a low profile when I'm not doing. If I'm not doing some crazy shit with you, I'll do some crazy shit, but it's got to like come randomly. I never organize any of the crazy shit I do. It just
I
happens.
organize craziness.
I finally squashed the beef on something that has been going on since before we started the podcast.
No, I've been
I
hearing
wanna
about
mind you.
this.
So, back in July, I ordered a sweater from a company called Live Heroes. If you look them up on Facebook, this is going to be our first air horn for a while, but fuck Live Heroes.
Live Heroes.
So I ordered the sweater back in July. I waited 2.5 months and didn't hear anything from them except that my order was verified. I sent them a message saying, "Hey, I haven't heard anything from you guys. Haven't even gotten any shipping information. Just curious about what's going on with my order." And it's a custom print sweater. I'm wearing it right now on the show, if you can see it. First of all, I ordered a 4X, and this fits like an extra large.
Yeah.
And when you look on the tag, I'll show you this after the show. They just wrote a 4 in front of the XL. And I'm really pissed about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it fits, thank God, because I've lost some weight. But like, it fits like a long sleeve T-shirt. It
Yeah.
doesn't wear like a sweater at all.
Yeah.
Because I was hoping like 4X, big, baggy,
Big,
warm,
yeah,
and like it's
nice.
nice and soft inside. But like, it's not a 4X sweater. It's not a $70
Yeah, it doesn't
sweater.
look. Yeah, it doesn't look quality fabric. like
No, it's
quality
not.
Sweater fabric.
And so
Come on, Live Heroes.
Live Heroes, fuck them, because then they messaged me saying they weren't able to verify my payment information because I use an IP scrambler on everything that I do. And so like
Why is that, Slim?
no reason. Don't ask. Listen, man, I got
We
a
have a
lot.
don't ask, don't tell policy.
Listen, man, I got shit I do outside of this show, okay? The guala's got to come from somewhere, and we have no sponsors. I need
Yeah.
to do shit on
I
the
need money.
Shit, me too.
Beautiful.
And so I contacted them and they were like, yes, so the order IP and the billing IP address came from 2 different countries, so we just wanted to verify that you're you. And I said, interesting that you wouldn't reach out to me about this in the event you were worried about credit card fraud. Here we go. And so I sent them all the information they needed, and they were like, cool, we'll get this to you ASAP. Waited another 2.5 months with a shipping confirmation ID, which I would then punch into an all-in-one shipment tracker, and it said like, okay, because it came from Europe, like this came across.
And yeah, you've been telling me like it's still crossing the ocean.
Still crossing the ocean, and every time I checked, it said the last event was October 11th. It was shipped from Poland to the USPS. And that's all. And if you check it right now, that's what it says. It says from London to USPS. I went and checked my mail day before yesterday. When I got home from work, it was like really late at night, and I hadn't checked my mail in a couple of days, so it was full, and there was some stuff jammed in the back, and there was a missed delivery slip from October 21st. This was November 7th when I found it. And it said, and it had the tracking number on there, and it said, we tried to drop this off. It's going to be at the post office. And so it was already obviously too late to go to the post office. So the next day I woke up, and this was yesterday. So I woke up, and I volunteer on my off days. And so before I went to volunteer, I was like, I'm going to go down to the post office. I'm going to get my sweater. I'm going to feel good about it. I'm going to wear the sweater all day, and I'm going to tell everybody this cool story about where the sweater came from. I get down to the post office. The guy takes my slip. I'm like, this is it. He's going to walk out with this beautiful package, and I'm going to open it. And because I need you to understand, we have been doing when I ordered the sweater, it has been longer than we've been doing the show.
Yeah.
Our first episode came out in August.
Yeah, early August.
I ordered it in the middle of July. So we hadn't even begun to talk about this seriously yet when I ordered the sweater. I am just now wearing the sweater that I received yesterday.
So it was a total of 4 months?
4+ months, yeah.
4+ months.
Like four in a week, pretty much.
A light 4 in a week for a sweater.
But then what happened was I go to the post office, and the guy comes out and says here your order was already picked up. And I said, that's impossible, because if anyone in my house had picked it up, I would have known about it by now, because I've been bitching about this thing for the last 3 months. I didn't do it. And so he pulled it up, and he's like, well, that's really weird. I'm like, yeah, that is really weird. Where's my shit? And so I was already running late for what I had to go do. And so I'm like, if we can because it just threw a huge hiccup in my plans. So he pulls up the computer, shows that it was signed for by someone at a completely different address on my street. Because I'm not going to give out my address on the show.
Yeah, you live right behind.
I will kill you if. I feel like every time this happens, someone hears a beep and they just hear me going, "I'm gonna fucking kill you." But no. So it was an address that was one number off of my address, which is where Live Heroes shipped it to.
Full government address.
It's where they shipped it to, and then this woman took the slip down to the post office, signed for it, and took my mail. And so because the guy was like, yeah, here. And he flipped the computer around. It showed her signature. It showed the date she came in and got it. And I was like, motherfucker. I was like, I have to go on yet another sabbatical to go get this fucking thing. And so it was this big, long process. I knocked on the neighbor's door. She didn't answer. The neighbor answered, and he was like, what do you want? And I'm like, somebody might have something of mine, and I would like to see if they're home. And he goes, well, they're not home. I was like, I see that. When will they be back? Well, I don't know. And then he slammed the door, and it's like, you are literally less help than anybody could be in this situation right now. He's lucky I didn't just reach out and rip his ear off for the trouble. And so I left a note. I went and did what I had to do. Got home, and the package was at my house. Praise God, opened it up, put the sweater on, and it's a nice sweater, but it is underwhelming because for a $70 sweater, I expected thicker material. Like, feel the sleeve on this. Like, I was expecting.
You can tell. I know exactly what type of. Yeah, this is like
it's that all over print material.
It's called like is it sublimation or
and I'm so fucking afraid to wash this thing because I'm afraid it's gonna
shrink
like a motherfucker. So I'm gonna have to like.
I bought from China. I had a similar experience, but it was like $5, so I was like, fuck it. I bought a shirt that is that same shit t-shirt, extra large. I might have even done a double X because it said like go big. It's Danny DeVito's face on a Dorito. Danny Dorito shirt. Fuck yeah. I wait for like probably 2 months for this to come from China. There's no tracking information. I thought it was just a shot in the dark. I finally get it. I pull it out. It's like rubber banded together. I open it, and it's like
a child's shirt.
It's like a child shirt.
Yeah.
It's so small. I put it on, and I look like fucking biscuits popping out of a carton. Like, it was shockingly small. And then, yeah, because it's like, so it's just like spandex, that shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe I can cut it out and sew it on like a back of a hoodie, but like you can't sew that fabric because it's so like I can stretch it.
It's just
across
stringy and
my
stretchy.
house. Like I could cover my house with it, so I can't like sew it onto anything. It's so thin and worthless.
Well, and it's like,
So I cut it out. So I just have this weird cutout of Danny DeVito.
Best
Dorito
$5
face.
you ever spent.
We'll hang it up if I remember.
Let's do
Because
it.
it is great. Like
But,
if I,
like, it's not
like a
gonna fit.
handkerchief maybe during the winter, and I'm
a
like
do-rag that you could tie on your head.
on my nose with Danny Dorito. So it was worth the $5 or whatever I paid just for the story.
I had a very similar experience to that, except it was a knockoff Yeezus tour shirt from
Oh,
China.
yeah.
$13.
Yeah.
And I got it.
the
and
Pablo one.
Well, yeah, I got the red Pablo one with the lettering, and they said all the reviews said order up. They size small, and I got a man's 3X, and it doesn't fit me. Like
See,
even with all the weight I've lost, like I put it on, I'm still like, ooh, like I'm gonna have to lose like 50 more pounds before I can squeeze into a Chinese 3X.
I got a good one. Like same thing. I feel like Pablo ultralight beam on the back.
Yep.
The whatever. It's like fucking when you print off on the paper and stick it to the shirt, like that gross shit.
God.
But it was like good enough. It was so good that when I was in Madison, R.I.P. Tiki Shack, my favorite bar ever probably, was in there drunk as shit, and some guy's like, you got the fucking and he's like, yo, I'll give you $40 right now for that shirt. And I will always wear an undershirt, so I was like, shit, $40? I could buy hella drinks right now. And all my buddies are like, fucking give it to him, like $40. I felt bad because I'm too honest, and I was like, it's not legitimate. It's like a knockoff.
Should have.
I just feel bad because if I bought a fake Kanye shirt off someone in a bar for $40
And then found out that it was a
and it was
ripoff.
fake, I would probably be like, yeah, this is my life. This makes sense. But I would still be upset. So I was honest with him, and he's like, because then his friend was like, yeah, I don't think they made that colorway. And I was like, actually, they did. But
Actually, they did, but that's not the point.
the guy's like, that's a fucking good knockoff. And I think I got it off like Etsy or something. I was like, yeah, it's out there. It's like $13. It's a piece of shit shirt that I'm probably gonna throw. Like I can't wear it anymore. The neck and everything fell apart. And he was like, wow, I'm going to buy you a shot. And I was like, okay. And then he walked away, and I was like, no, he's not. And it was like 10 minutes, and then I was telling my friends, and they're like, you should have done it. And I was like, yeah, I feel bad. And then he taps me on the shoulder, and he has a shot for him and for me. And he's like, cheers to your knockoff Kanye shirt. And I was like, fuck it, got me a shot.
Yeah.
A $13 bootleg Kanye shirt got me a shot in a bar at
Mine
1
just
in the
got
morning.
me body insecurities.
Yeah, different shirts.
Different waves.
But yeah, so
That's
go
just
buy
the
fake shirts.
waves.
I think I'm going to start.
Waves don't die. Let me crash you for a moment.
45 more minutes of that. I think I'm going to start buying
No
fake Gucci and
lies.
shit because I think it'll be funny.
Can we get Gucci flip-flops?
We'll talk about this after the show.
I just fuck your bitch in some Gucci flip-flops.
All right, you want to get into some submissions?
Yeah, I would love to, because one of these submissions, I want to reach out to this person and offer them consolidation. Not consolidate, just
Yeah, we want to
consolement.
consolidate all your problems.
I want to console this person's... Okay, because I had an inkling as to who this person was. I asked them, and they looked at me like I was a madman when I tried describing to them what it was about. So it definitely wasn't about them.
I feel like we have to know them if it's you and you need help. We're going to preface a bunch of shit.
I woke up with a mama.
So in the last episode, we said give us some substance. First thing I want to say is we are not necessarily the people for advice for you, just up front.
We have our own way of doing things that is... it's proven that if you're us, it works, but we can't necessarily say that we can give advice, but if something bad happens because of the advice we give, it's not our fault.
Yeah, with this whole show, anything we say, if it doesn't work out,
Well, because like advice is advice. Like the way advice works is you're supposed to take it from multiple sources and then come to a conclusion about what all the information you got was.
And even like this isn't like terribly dark, but I feel like this,
it's the darkest thing we've ever.
It's the darkest thing we've gotten, and I feel like this could open the floodgates. And this is the first time I've been like, wow, this show can have some repercussions for my mind. I'm just gonna be dumping other people's problems. So feel free to send them. Whatever we say, like, I'm not a fucking therapist.
No,
I want to help you. I want everything to go better for you. Anyone listening right now, I hope everything works out for you. I hope everything is great.
Sincerely.
I don't know if, I sincerely feel that way. I don't know if what I'm going to say about things is going to help or make it worse.
But obviously, I care enough, because I actually had this conversation with someone today. I was explaining the whole Poison Halloween candy myth is a bunch of bullshit. There's no actual evidence behind it. But there's a lot of stuff to be had because you got to think like, okay, people generally tend to think the same culturally. So you have to think about like your area. I don't want to go out and hurt people every day.
Yeah.
There are people that slip through the cracks who are crazy and do things, but I think generally people have people's best interest in mind.
Yeah.
I always have people's best interest in mind when they come to me for things. If you want to send us something, keep in mind your interests are what's first and foremost in our mind, but we're not always the I'll say all about things that are going wrong. So let's get into this because I feel like we've built this up enough.
Yeah, we built it up. It also is off of the website. Like we said, you can submit anonymously. This person put in anonymous as their name. Yeah. And the email is fake. So like I said, we don't have any of your information. We don't know who this is.
We have
feel like
no
we
idea
probably
who
know
this is.
Maybe them in real life.
Yeah.
But I don't know who it is, and we'll keep all your shit private. So
let's go ahead and read this off.
First off, we did get another submission, which I got when I was very shit-faced at like 1 a.m, and it just said, talk about the hot dog.
Was it a guy or a girl's voice?
I think it was a girl. I was trying to hear it on my phone, and then I like played it way too loud publicly. So it's just me at like a taco place, and it's like, talk about the hot dog. And I'm like, I don't know what that is.
I mean, I don't know what there is to talk about with the hot dog.
I think because the episodes are delayed, so I think they didn't, because this was before the episode that technically came out today had come out. So we did talk about the hot dog on the episode that just aired on the 10th. So I think it was just one of those things in between.
Yeah.
So we did talk about the hot dog.
Yeah.
Well, we still got to put the picture up on Facebook, but I'm a hot dog and babies are hot dogs too. We'll leave it at that.
It's a great one.
And that's a nice little warm spot before we get into this. So I'm going to try to read this well.
This is hefty. Lengthy. Bear with us.
Yeah. So the subject is I fucked up ... maybe. And it says, hello, dads. I need to confess something. The time I may have legitimately cursed someone. To preface, I swear on my grandmother's grave that this is true. I know you have no reason to think it is, but I promise you it is. So one day I was rollerblading with my dog, and this guy, who up until now was living pretty much the perfect life, loving wife, a daughter 5 years of age, was driving up and stopped me and said something like, hey, you're pretty good at that. Just being the happy, friendly guy he was. Well, in that 2 seconds it took for him to stop and say that, my dog had crossed in front of me and jumped up onto the door for some attention. Keep in mind I was only 11 or 12 and was also rollerblading pretty fast. So suffice it to say, I tripped and smashed my knee to fuck. I couldn't walk right for a couple weeks afterwards. After falling, I thought some vile shit. I hope that everything that could go wrong happened to him. I hope his family was destroyed. I hope he never felt happiness again. Well, a few weeks went by and I was okay for the most part and didn't really think of him. I continued to exist, and years later I learned from a neighbor that this guy had moved away. I asked why, and my neighbor said, after all that happened, anyone would want to move away. I asked what had happened, and then I learned. His daughter had gotten some type of cancer. His wife coped by sleeping with other men. He lost his job and was forced to work at a gas station.
Jesus.
After he found out about the cheating, his wife took their daughter and ran away. And because of her being so sick, she got even sicker and passed while the mother was bumfucking, occasionally literally, all over the state. So here I am learning all of this, and all I can think is, what if I actually cursed him? What if I caused this? What if it's my fault because I was a stupid kid in pain? I've been having nightmares on and off for a while since then. I need your help, you guys. Life's getting a little too dark.
Well.
Woo! That is quite a submission, first and foremost.
Yes.
Thank you for your submission.
Yes,
That's
thank
probably
you to whoever
rough
that
to
is.
get into.
There's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way. Okay, so I suppose my biggest thing I say this a lot in my personal life. I say that the power of the mind is not a joke. If you believe in something, it can absolutely come true. Usually I tend to use it more in an inspirational way when I tell people, if you have a vision for your life, you have something that you want to do. If you can visualize yourself doing it, then you can also achieve it. Anything that you can visualize, you can achieve. Now, that being said, there's also something for people who have bad habits or people who are self-destructive in their own nature. And when you tell yourself things are a certain way for a long time, you will eventually start to believe it. just because of what you believe. Now, obviously, this isn't someone we know. We didn't get any pretext from this. There are lots of different schools of thought out there about the ideas of magic or cursing somebody or like that. And it's not like fucking Skyrim where you can like cast spells and stuff like that. But there is an idea that you can do certain practices that will invoke certain things or attitudes or lifestyle changes in this world. Now, that being said, per my understanding of those practices, they're very specific things that you have to do in very specific ways. Just without naming any people, I know someone who does believe in the practice of magic. You know, they believe in doing all that kind of stuff. And I've talked with them about it a little bit. It's not necessarily something that I'm very deeply into, but it is a curious thing to talk about. And it's the way they explain it to me, it's something where it has to be the right time. You have to like do stuff leading up to it.
Yeah, there are it's tremendous amount of steps.
It's not something where you can just like fall down and think bad things about somebody and then their life falls apart, you know? I mean,
Well, my biggest thing, my strongest point on this is imagine if everything you thought as a child came true in that
right.
kind of
And I mean, like, how much angry shit did you think as a teenager?
My God, I've done worse than that. Like, literally, probably as an adult, I've thought like I'm
pretty sure today I thought worse than what
I'll
this
be
is.
behind someone driving like a jackass, and I'm like, I hope you crash your car, but it probably doesn't happen.
But like, okay, but then answer this: let's say you were in traffic, and this guy kept brake checking, he was driving like a fucking idiot. And you're like, God, I wish he would just fucking crash. And then like 3 miles down the road, he fucking crashes.
Yeah.
Would you blame yourself? I personally wouldn't. No, because in my opinion, I'm put in that situation and it's like that guy was driving erratically already.
Yeah.
It was bound to happen.
Yeah. I would think that. I definitely would blame myself. I know myself. Like I would think about it. And I'd probably think about it a lot like this person does. I probably wouldn't think about it like if I was 11 and 12 and that happened, I probably wouldn't be thinking about it today.
Yeah.
But there would always be that inkling like, fuck, I wish I wouldn't have said that. But yeah,
and you're always going to have things like that.
Because I have that with everything in my life.
Right. Now, okay, I just want to reach out to whoever submitted this to us, and I want to say that I don't think you should beat yourself up about this sincerely.
No, not at all.
Because what would, riddle me this. So this is someone you knew. This is a neighbor that this person had. What would you have done if if you never had that incident with the car? If you never like ran into them with your dog? What would you do if all that bad stuff happened and you had nothing to do with it? You wouldn't think twice about it.
You wouldn't even.
What happened was, what I think happened with this person is it's just putting pieces together, because that's what the human brain tries to do. It tries to see patterns. It tries to connect things together. And I think whoever this person is, unfortunately, has just taken a small incident like this that could have happened to anybody, truly. I mean, it could have been some guy riding his bike down the street. It could have been anybody else walking their dog, you know. Really, sincerely, I think you shouldn't feel bad about it. I understand you told us that you've been having nightmares about this and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the troubling part. I have like horrific nightmares.
But they don't involve like certain scenarios
not something,
like this.
There's like specific things in my life, but it's not something I did per se that I'm like dwelling on. That's the thing that's unpleasant and unfortunate. But yeah, at the end of the day, like we got this last week when we wrapped the show, and we both were pretty immediately like, yeah, it's not their fault. Like it's just
I mean, that was my first instinct about it. Like,
just being a kid, because I think of the shit I did as a kid, or think, like I said, like it's just shit you think. Like, yeah, I hope everything bad happens to you. Like I said, I still do that to this day, and nothing happens.
Somebody pisses me off at work, and I'm just like, God, I hope you have a terrible fucking day.
Yeah,
but it's like then it's like, that person goes out into the world and I don't know what kind of day they have, you know?
Yeah, and you don't have the frame of reference.
While the power of the mind is not a joke, I will say that I don't believe just an angry young kid just wishing horrible things on someone for an accident that happened is enough to constitute the idea that you may have cursed this person. Now, that's not saying that, you know, this guy obviously had a very, very bad situation happen in his life. And I do feel bad for the guy that happened, but from what it sounds like, this person has no other outside interaction with that neighbor outside of the fact that they are neighbors. So it's like I just would challenge them to think like, what if that never happened and all these bad, because this is how this guy's life was always going to go, regardless of if you two had ever had an encounter or not. So it's like, would you
even if he wasn't your neighbor?
So so what if, like, at what point then, if the guy's life went downhill, would you be like, oh, I was his neighbor? But like, you can't. There's so many variables there. I personally think whoever this is, if you wanted to reach out to one of us, whoever you are, and talk about this, I am more than willing to talk to you about it.
Definitely talk about it to someone.
No,
and we're here, like I said, like this is opening the floodgates. But honestly, if anyone ever has any issues, like
you
we're
can
both,
come to us.
Yeah,
like
we're both ears. We have a fucking phone number. We have like multiple ways to contact us. Even if you don't want to tell us who it is, you can do the same submission you did and just say, hey, don't put this on the show. And we can respond from some way. We'll figure something out.
In some way or form. Because I'm going to tell you guys right now, Drama knows shit about me that nobody else knows.
And same with Slim. Like, it's good we have that now where we can talk. And it's good to have people. Sometimes you just need to get something off your chest. And once you do, it kind of like breaks away like the whole... You build it up in your head. And I think the biggest part with this is that story is insane. Like, that guy's life is crazy.
Yeah, and that sucks that happened to that guy.
Yeah, that guy had a very unfortunate hand dealt to him that, again, would have happened regardless of any interaction.
Yeah.
Because, there's just so much shit. And I think that's why it's probably more traumatic is there's so many events there. Like, you have a daughter that passes away and you have a wife that's unfaithful.
Right.
And then you lose it. That's everything that can happen to a person.
And I mean, like,
pretty
and
much.
how many times did you hear stories like that growing up? Like, this family split up because of this, like this. Like, there was when I was going to school, there was a big fiasco because one of the like vice principals left his wife who had cancer for one of the young teachers. Yeah. And it's like, wow, that really sucks. But it's like, I don't think that guy's wife specifically did anything to deserve that life. Yeah. I really, whoever you are, whoever submitted this, whatever, you're not alone. Like, really, I don't want you, we don't want you to feel like you're alone with these thoughts in your head, because Drama and I are masters of beating ourselves up over shit. Let me tell you.
I got a lot of shit.
I got a lot of shit that I've beaten myself up for in the past, but really, this sounds like a situation where you've taken it, you've run it through your head so much that instead of this isn't an outside issue where it would be hurting you in life and giving you stress in life, but you yourself are putting stress into your life because of the situation. So really, you're not alone. You're never alone. If you don't feel like you have anyone to reach out to the fucking Dapper Dads. Yeah, like we said, we have
multiple ways to do it.
Every way. And if you want to, if you have shit you want to talk about that you can't talk to anyone else and you want to stay anonymous, it's doable. Like, you can just text us and we don't need to trace your phone number. You can submit to the website. We are here for the people. We're a show for the people and for our fan base. And it's like, if we want to have a deep connection with our fan base, I don't want you to think that we're your therapists or anything. Yeah, exactly. But like, if you have something anonymous that you need to get off your chest, I encourage you, please, because I've had shit that I've held in for so long. And that one thing we were talking about that I held in, and it's like, when you finally get something off your chest, it literally feels like a weight is gone, and you begin to then prioritize it, and you realize that, wow, I really made this something big. It didn't need to be so sincerely.
Yeah, sometimes you just need. I have stupid things that I stress about, and I'll tell someone, and they're like, "That's not
that
like
shit."
Not to undermine it, but like, that's.
But
not
like,
the
why are
worst
you so
thing.
stressed about it?
Yeah, you build it up in your head for so long, and especially, I'm assuming you're probably relative to our age, so that's like at least a decade of having that in your head.
On your shoulders.
You know what
so
I mean?
Like,
and again, like, I cannot stress enough, being a child, like, I've told people that I love in my family or like close friends that I hate them. Like, have you ever called your mom a bitch and then felt bad? Of course,
when I was a teenager,
yeah. And then now you're like, oh, that was stupid. And like,
but it's like, I go forward being a good son and be good, and that's what you really have to do with this. Like, I understand this was something that has clearly affected you, but you really, one of the best pieces of advice I ever got in my life was that my mom had a coworker who had something really, really awful happen to her, and she was telling both me and my sister about it, and like, God, bleep that out. Yep. She was like, how do you live with something like that? And my mom goes, well, that's not really something that you get over, you just learn to live around it. Mm-hmm. And we all have shit like that we have to do. There's just some shit that and if this is something that you're never going to get over, I'm very sorry that this affected you so much to that point, but you need to find a way to learn to live around it, because it's always going to be there. If it's been in the back of your head for 10 years, it's always going to be there. Oh, yeah. And there's shit that I've opened up and like gotten, catharsis through and everything that I still carry with me, because that's just how I feel about the situations. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that whoever you are who submitted this, you don't have to make this something that you have to live with. You can just live around it.
There's going to be things that will forever stick with you, but then there is always like a bright side to it. Like, maybe this incident can make you think before saying like, I hope everything bad happens to you. You know what I mean? I try to take that with like the worst situations and be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't react like that, and then you live to be a better person. Not saying thinking, just offhandedly thinking, I hope everything bad happens to you, will make that happen. Because like we said, there is things you can do to try to alter states, and you can believe in that or not. I'm indifferent towards it, but like it takes much more effort
than just scraping your
like
knee
I
and
said,
thinking.
every single day I'm like, God, I hope you crash your car. I have very bad road rage, so that's
Same.
definitely like the number one where I'm like, you fucking piece of shit. I hope everyone gets pulled over or they crash their car. That's the first
Or
thing
their
I think when
tires
people
fall off,
Yeah.
or their brake lines go.
I will say, because I thought about it today and it kind of fits in. When we were coming back from Minnesota, long 6-hour drive, I was in the passenger seat. Shout out, Matt was driving. And this is one of the few times where I was like, mind is powerful. I was looking ahead of us was a boat tied to a truck, like hooked up, not just tied. But I was looking at one of the tires for some reason. I was just out of it. 6-hour drive. I'd been drunk for a whole weekend. I was just staring at the tire, and the tire exploded. And I was like, did I do that with my mind?
You thought you were 11.
Yeah, I know.
Stranger
I was
Things.
like, did
Your
I do
nose
that?
started bleeding afterwards.
And they weren't even driving like asshole. Their license plate on their boat was funny, and we all joked about it. And then I was just fixated on the tire, and it exploded. And I was like, but then I tried to make another tire explode later just to test
and it
the
just
theory,
didn't
and
work. Well, and
so the mind is just.
I think just from my
crazy.
personal experience, I was a very, very angry young man, like a very, very angry young man. And something.
And I'm a very angry adult.
I'm an extra angry adult. I'm like an extra angry adult with fries on the side.
My teenage self met my current self. He shit his pants. I'm so angry.
But okay, so you. And I think both of us can look back in the last 10 years of our lives and say, wow, we have truly tremendously changed as people.
Oh, God, yes.
And I think something that really tremendously changed me was when I got really sick, I looked back at how I do interact with people, and I realized that it wasn't always the most patient or kind or understanding way.
Yeah.
And so I like to think that since that happened to me, I have become I have my moments, but I have become a more patient and understanding person. And so really, to kind of cap off this whole experience that this person went through, I would say just if you feel that if what we said did not get to you and you genuinely still feel responsible for this, just learn from it, because
it's the best you can do. You can't change the past.
No, and like I stay up at night thinking all of my regrets sometimes about how I wish I had said things differently or done something differently.
Yeah.
I have regrets in the moment every day, because while I can come on the show and be with one of my best friends and have a really nice talking personality, I'm not always the best with people when I first meet them.
Yep.
And so sometimes when I'm at work, I get a little nervous and I get tongue-tied and I stutter a little bit, but it's like, and I'll like walk away. I'm like, you were an idiot. Why did you talk like that?
Same.
But it's like you just need to learn from things that you regret. Learn from experiences where you didn't live up to your own standards. If this is something where you're holding a standard to yourself today and you're like, dear God, I would never do that. I don't know why I did this. Keep going forward with it, because with every interaction that I have with a person, I try to be overly polite. I try to be very courteous. I try to be very good to people, because it's like the world's a fucking crazy place. There's so much shit that
so many assholes, so just don't
and
be
there's
an asshole.
so much shit that everyone is going through all the time. And I can say I've had moments where I've been, beaten down by the world, and someone interacts with me and I'm a bit more of a dick than I need to about it.
Of course.
Some fantastic advice is the world is crazy, just be kind. And that kindness should also extend to yourself, because I feel like any kindness or forgiveness that you do within and of yourself needs to be selfless and selfish at the same time, because forgiveness isn't about anyone else. It's not about what you did wrong to people. It's about you moving forward with your bad choices and learning from them, because forgiveness is a self thing. Because if you can't forgive people for the things that they did, or you can't forgive yourself for things, that's just baggage you're carrying with you every day, and it gets heavier and heavier. So you really should just sit down, forgive yourself, realize that this guy's life was going to be fucked regardless of the interaction you had with him, and just go out there and be the best person that you can be. Sincerely, just go out there with a good attitude and the right mind towards people. And I guarantee if you just go out here with a brighter mindset and just try to be good to everyone, this shit won't even matter after a while. You're just going to be like, that was something dumb I did as a kid. Because it's, in a way, for me, it's like I was so bad to people for so long that it's like I almost feel like I have to be very good to people to help make up for the way that I was. And in a way, I feel like it does equal out sometimes, because
I will also say, I've said it before, it's a quote that's always in my head, and I'm going to say I came up with it, but there's no way I did, because I'm not this bright. But like, stressing and worrying about things in the past is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but you don't get anywhere.
And I love that advice.
Beautiful.
Sincerely.
And also, another thing that I think of with this, just to cap it off, is the only way I would feel like it would be crazy is if you're like, I wish everything bad happened to that person, and they drove and like smashed their car and died. Then it would be like, oh fuck. So
I did something.
I always
bad.
try to think of things like that. Like this could be a worse scenario that
Right.
would feel like, yeah, like if they literally something immediately happened, then maybe you could stay up at night and be like, I fucking killed that guy or something. So it could have been worse. It could have been more direct.
Absolutely, yeah.
And yeah, shit happens and life's fucking crazy. And
Life
life gets dark, but life can always still get bright.
Life is crazy. Be kind. Just be kind to everyone. If
Yes.
and I know we get rambunctious and we talk like assholes sometimes, but sincerely,
And we're assholes sometimes.
We are assholes, but sincerely, it is a crazy fucking world out there. There is so much shit happening all the time.
A lot of people are bad and crazy, so just be good.
Just be
and happy.
kind. That's all you have to do is be kind to people, and you will be amazed how much better you feel about yourself as a person.
And on that note, we did get some reviews.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and get into these.
So the first one, the title is Yes. And it was left by Making Up a Name So I Can Post. As we said, leave us some nice reviews. If it doesn't let you,
just
it's the
type
name.
in a random
Type in some
character of
name.
letters and numbers, and you can leave a
Don't
5-star
type in
review.
Making Up a Name So I Can Post because it's taken.
Yeah.
But the review is, thank God these two met at their awful job. This podcast makes me excited to drive to work on Fridays. If only there was a new episode every day. What do you think, dads? What do you think?
Here's the thing. First of all, it's stressful enough coming up with original shit to talk about once a week. Because I don't, like, okay, I get we talk about, like, going out and partying and doing all this crazy shit. I work and I go home during the week. That is what I do.
I always
have
want to
a very-
emphasize, because I've had this for, like, my whole life, ever since I turned 21. People hear these stories in specific environments. And they're like, wow, your life is crazy. And then you want to come to my house on a Wednesday night where I'm like just bundled up watching some TV show
Yeah.
and sitting on my computer not talking.
Mhm.
That's pretty much the day to day.
Yeah.
You're hearing the cliff notes.
You're hearing
of
the
my
highlights
life.
of what goes good during the week. Because there's, like, so much just, like, I could
And you can
sit
tell
here.
my mama that I only want my whole life to be highlights, but it might not happen.
Tell my baby I'm back in town.
But yeah.
Now we got to
so-
throw that on the playlist in the next bye
course.
week.
in the bye week. But yeah, also, I think I know who left this, and the logistics of an everyday podcast
Is so damning.
literally not feasible.
It's not
at this point.
with the amount of editing that goes into
Yeah.
this.
And now there's video,
if-
and I'm at my house sitting. Now I'm not sitting bundled up having a nice night. I'm frantically editing everything and making sure things are bleeped out and the music comes in right, and I'm just losing my mind.
So I will say, if you want an episode every day, come do all the post production shit, and we'll give you an episode.
We need money.
And
we need so much money
so
that
much money.
it's our life to do this.
Because
then you can
this takes what, 4 or 5 hours out of our Friday at least.
I was gonna say, you want to talk about my Saturdays? God, yeah, I don't. It takes a bit just to make it, and it takes me.
We have some
edit it.
ideas going forward into the future where you may be able to get some more content aside from every other Friday. It
We
might
love
not be
doing this. We have ideas. And I mean, we've talked a lot of things into existence. The video was just like a afterthought in the beginning.
That
and
is now happening.
It exists. So
Hi.
And there's things like that. We've got a lot of shit in the pipeline. It's just getting to the point where it is possible and making sure we're not just shooting ourselves in the foot. 'Cause
Right, yeah.
As much like I would love to do a podcast every day.
That'd be
but
if I could do that for my living, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. We can be 2 Joe Rogans because us together can make 1 Joe Rogan. He's a superhuman.
Do you think we could fight Joe Rogan, the two of us?
He doesn't fight a lot.
I would love it if we could
we could ambush him. We'll figure it out.
I would like it if we could either be on Joe's show or Joe could be on our show.
Yeah.
Because I want to hear some of the theories that guy has just about everything.
I like him more than Fear Factor as a child.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to do it every day. And there's a part of me that's always like, I don't want to put that much shit out. But then all of you guys seem to constantly be like, I want more.
So, I had a friend
which is fucking fantastic.
I had a friend Snapchat me this week, and he was making a face, and he's like, I need more. I'm jonesing for more episodes. And it's like,
literally
okay, if you
everyone
got through 14 episodes of shit, like, that's nice and everything. But
literally everyone that listens, like, like that's the thing I've heard. Is like,
and we
I could do
appreciate
more.
every
And
single one of you.
Thank you
sincerely.
all for listening. And
Your,
thank you for some reason being so excited that
your
you think
dedication,
you need more of this.
Your dedication will pay off in the future. I can promise you that.
We've got some shit in the hopper.
In the pipeline.
Yeah, so just
we're going to pipe it hot
stay
and
tuned.
steam in
Until
India.
then, you can always guarantee a fresh new episode every Friday, if nothing else. I know I listen to podcasts too, and I get into them, and I'm like, God, I wish there was more. And then they're done, and you're like, it wasn't long enough, even though it's fucking 2 hours long or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll give you more if nothing else. We're here every Friday for you.
Every
like a
fucking
good friend.
Friday.
Then the other podcast we got, the other review we got, the title is Blah Blah, both in parentheses. And this is from AM Galaxy, but it's spelled AM Galax with an X and C instead of Galaxy with a Y. I liked it when I read it. I was like, clever name. So shout out to you, AM Galaxy. And they said, I laughed. I cried. I related to these guys in ways I wasn't entirely comfortable with. Keep them coming. That's exactly
that's an
what
A
I want.
plus review. Yeah,
exactly
thank you to whoever that was.
Yeah,
that
shout
was,
out AM Galaxy. That one was today.
We can get closer to you anytime you want.
Yeah.
If you can just locate the dungeon, we'll be skin close.
Yeah, we can touch you if you want. Otherwise, you can contact us, and I believe it's 6 or 7 different ways at this point.
At least.
So,
we're begging for attention that we didn't get from our fathers growing up. So please.
The website anonymously, the phone number, the email. You can message the Facebook. It says we reply in 2 minutes.
Yeah, we reply stupid fast.
There's so much.
I'm up all night. I will literally reply to you at 2 in the morning if you message the page.
I'm up early in the morning.
So there's like only a 3-hour gap in a 24-hour period
Don't try
where you might have to wait.
If you find it on the off hours, we'll never speak to you.
I'll give you a hint. It's not the time you're thinking.
Yes. But yeah, those were the reviews. So again, shout out reviews. Keep them coming. We need those fucking hot 5 stars so we can
bring the show to
jerk
you
off
eventually. Yes. So we can jack each other off under the table secretly in public in
Wink,
front of
wink.
people.
But yeah, keep it coming with the submissions as well. If you don't have a very deep story, just send us some fun shit that we can elaborate on, not being fucking baby lions and stuff. Those are fun. We'll talk about whatever. But if you give us some substance,
no room for growth.
We can get into it. If you have some deep dark shit, we'll try our best. I think we
did pretty good. Yeah,
we tackled
that
it.
was some decent life advice.
Yeah, just throw it out there. We're fucking begging for your goddamn odds.
I just want attention from everyone all the time.
Yeah, we need
give
this.
Me attention. Please.
We'll do a few more minutes. What did you think of Stranger Things 2?
Topical.
I finished it, and I feel like now this will come out in a week, so it's enough.
I mean, it's
no spoilers.
No spoilers. It was good. It wasn't what I was expecting. What I liked about the first season so much was that it was like a small, contained story.
Yeah.
You know, and I get they have a bigger budget. They have to go bigger and better. You know, I didn't not like it. I loved all the hints and nods to 80s culture.
It was good enough to make me forget that it's almost the exact same thing as the first season.
Yeah, literally.
Like, literally.
Yeah, it was.
I finished it and I was like, wow, that was good. It wasn't as good as I hoped for. It wasn't as good as the first season. And I was like, wow, it's literally almost the exact same thing. You guys
and I'm not going to
did it
say the
twice.
Duffer Brothers didn't make a good product.
No, it was still like I watched every episode. I enjoyed myself. I don't regret watching.
I liked it. The best review I read of the show was that the way they would compare watching the show would be like listening to the soundtrack for the new season. Because if you listen to the soundtrack, it's all these generic 80s songs, the one that everyone has heard 100 times and everyone knows by heart. You have no reason to go buy the soundtrack because you probably have all these on your best of 80s hits. But it doesn't make the songs less enjoyable when you listen to them. Yeah, it's like, okay, I've heard this 1,000 times. It's a good song. I could sing the whole thing, but it's just there was no super original ideas with it, but it was done in such a way that I enjoyed it. I give it like out of 10,
a 3.
Not a 3. I would give it at least a 7.5 out of 10. I would say if the story could have been different, like when they did the episode where I don't want to give any spoilers away in case people haven't seen it, but you know which one I'm talking about.
Episode.
That one episode was so good because it was so different from
that.
But it was so different from everything else they were doing.
If it would have been, if we could have done like a Halloween 3 situation where it's just like that's not a good movie, but it was just completely different. Yeah, something like that. Like, I like the idea of it's basically like a backstory type ordeal.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it was good because it was a change of pace, but it also was very apparent that the episode prior to that ends so hyped that they did that as just kind of like a filler. I think that's what took away from it too.
And the ending came up so quick for me because I binge watched like the first half one night, and then I binge watched the second half another night. And for some reason, the ending snuck up on me so fast because it was like that big moment at the end, you know, and then it was the whole dance at the end. And I was like, this feels like it's wrapping up. And then like
it feels like it was rushed.
It ended on that. Yeah, it was a very rushed ending.
The very end thing was stupid.
Yeah, it's
like,
I'm like,
are we just gonna keep doing this? It's kind of it has like the Hangover syndrome,
well, then it's,
where the Hangover movies are the same movie three fucking times.
And it's like the first one, it's like, okay, this is really good. The second one, it's like they do it in a different location. It's like, okay, we get it.
The third one is
third one, you're like, I didn't even see the third one.
Yeah,
it's like fucking garbage. I'm not gonna do it.
Just wanted to see how many times.
And so it's like, I want to see Stranger Things season 3. And I'm like I said, I didn't hate it, but it's like there's just so many things they could have done differently that would have made it better.
Yeah,
you know.
I was very curious. That's why I brought it up. I was very curious while I was watching it. I was like, I wonder what Slim is thinking about this.
I do that all the time. I watch stuff. I'm like, I wonder what drama.
Yeah. That's just all our life now. It's like,
I
wonder what the other, and then even when we're not watching things, like, I wonder what Slim's doing.
I wonder what drama's doing. Just taking an angry shit on a Thursday after a flaming drama.
Yeah. I'm like, nothing exciting.
Just sitting cuddled up in your underwear editing the show, and I'm just like, bet he's out living the life right now.
Yeah, that's, I think, what everyone thinks about me. I don't sit around in my underwear. It makes me uncomfortable.
It makes me uncomfortable, too. I got to wear a lot of clothes when I'm hanging out. I need like a big... I need 17 shirts on, so I look like a ridiculous fat person.
Day to day, I'm in my undershirt and like some basketball shorts. Or I've recently put on some sweatpants because it's getting cold out.
I do like sweatpants.
The older I'm getting, the colder I'm getting. As like
same.
As like a teenager, I would be outside in December in
shorts,
a t-shirt,
in a tank.
Yeah. And I still run hot based on people I'm around. I'm like, it's fucking hot in this car.
Like,
and everyone's like, I'm so cold. But I don't run as hot as I used to.
No.
And I'm like, because now it sucks because it's just starting to get kind of cold. And I'm like, it's so fucking cold. No, turn the heat on. I used to sleep as a teenager with my window open.
Drama. God,
I slept with the window open.
In the middle of winter. Yeah. I would leave it open with the fan on me.
Yeah, it was so
I could wake
nice.
up freezing.
Yeah, because you can sleep the best if I have the air or the heat set to turn off while I sleep. It's like an hour before bed. It like kicks off because when you wake up and you got to piss or something, you're like, it's cold. But then you get in that bed and you're like, oh, I'm a toasty cinnamon roll, and it's the best feeling. It's the best sleep.
I've got a conundrum right now because we just got a new blanket and it's like a king size, but it's like the very, very soft like microfiber, you know. And
I don't like that shit.
See, I'm starting to not like it because I have one blanket that I've had for like 5 years and it's like a woven material, kind of like a knit hat.
I don't like that either.
But like it's breathable, so like it's the perfect amount of warmth because I can wrap myself up in it perfectly, and like if I have a fan on me, I can get a little bit of the breeze, but it stays warm. With this one, if I wake up and I'm like,
where's this podcast gone? We're comparing comforters now.
Blankets are super. I have so many. I'm a blanket guy. I'm not a pillow guy. I'm a blanket guy. I need my blankets.
I don't know what one I am. I hate quilts. I hate microfiber things. A lot of things feel gross. My thing is like, it's usually a white comforter. That comforter, it's like down or something where it's so puffy.
I hate those. And they feel like they're covered in like rigid, like, okay, you know those plastic like recycled things you get where they're like, this is an eco bag and it's like a weird crunchy material. That's what all those comforters feel like to me. They're not soft. They're just crunchy. Weird.
It might not be down, but it's got to be like thick, but like very like. I'm
really excited for the video for people to. This is how I describe blankets.
And the outside, like the fabric stays cold. So when it is cold, the blanket is like when you get the cool side of the pillow, but it's like the blanket, and it's like puffy, but it's not thick.
Yeah,
That's
how they describe me, puffy but not thick.
God damn it! I was gonna say I like my comforters like I like my women,
puffy but not thick.
I actually like thick ladies. I like all ladies.
Shout out all women. All women are beautiful in their own way. If you listen to this, you beautiful.
Yeah, but just wait for our spin-off podcast where we talk about comforters.
Yeah, where we talk about old man things. I like my...
I picture you in a Snuggie from time to time.
I actually... No, Snuggies, they never made one that was big enough for a man that's 60 feet tall.
You ever have a robe? I picture you in a robe a lot.
Can't find a robe that's big enough for me.
I'm going to get you a big robe.
If you want to get me something for Christmas this year, get me like a man's 4X, like comfy, like big puffy robe.
I'm going to change your life.
If you get me
I've gotten robes for people.
First of all, if you get me a life-changing robe, I will wear it to the show every week.
Oh, God.
Throughout the winter to keep me warm and cuddly.
I also need some good slippers. For the
man, like the nice, like just the slip-ons, not the ones where I got to pull them up over my heels.
I like the backs. But the thing is, they always come in like not half sizes. So I wear a 10 and a half. So you get a 10 tight, 11. I'm slipping out.
Too
of
big.
them.
Yeah.
Need a 10 and a half. They're slip on essentially, but they have the back like house shoes.
I think we should gift each other with robes for Christmas, and then when we
I hate robes.
How can you hate a robe?
It's gross.
How can you speak so highly of a robe and then like
I like other people in robes. I'm a giver, not a receiver.
Oh, if that ain't the truth, I don't know what is.
But
that's gonna be great in the video.
But robe,
just run at the camera.
so if you had a big robe fresh out of the shower, are you putting it on?
No, I'm gonna dry myself off and then I'm gonna put the robe on.
But even you like
because I don't want it to absorb water, and then I'm sitting there in a soggy robe.
I don't mean like I guess fresh out of the shower. You dry yourself off.
Now I'm talking fresh out the shower, and you touch yourself after hours. That's a throwback. I love that
Hell
shit.
Yeah. I heard that at a club recently.
Why would you play that in a club?
I don't know. It was
1,
good.
2, you're the one that I want.
I think they
3,
focus more
4,
on Frank.
5, 6, 7, shit. 8 is the bullets.
But
you're so motherfucking gorgeous.
When you dry yourself off, you're still damp. You know what I mean? You're not.
No, a robe.
We can get into towels too. You want to know about my life?
This show is going to shit.
I know. We're gonna wrap it up, but we could do a whole episode on.
We could do a whole episode about how particular we are about the things in our house. Because if it's one thing you want to know about me and drama, we're homebodies and we're picky about it.
You want to know where my life is at? For a towel every day, I use a beach towel.
Yeah, same. Because a beach towel is the only thing big enough to wrap around my girth.
It's so big, and they like are more absorbent. You know those really soft towels that just push the water around? What the fuck are people doing?
What's even the point? And I can't.
There's so many things like this where I'm like,
it's a
you guys
bad
are
product.
Wrong.
You're not
using
doing
a
it
quilt. You're using a robe. You're using the super soft towels that don't do anything. Like there's
get that scratchy towel that's been in the family for like a generation, and that thing will dry you off with a quarter.
I know.
Of it.
I have a towel that I think I've had my whole life, and the beach towels I've had for probably over a decade.
I have a big old beach towel at home.
Rotating
I use all
beach
the time.
towels that I wash, and I just use both of those. Use the beach towel. It's better. But my thing with the robe is you're always damp, and that soft fabric on
it absorbs the dampness.
I'm
weird. Then you're just kind of sitting there in like a spongy robe.
Yeah.
And it's like,
a
robe is a dry activity. It's not a it's like post shower, like an hour later.
I would agree with that. Maybe I could do a robe in that sense. But like being wet, especially like hair, one of the reasons I keep my hair so short is I hate wet hair. If you ever get your hair wet and it's long and you lay it on a pillow and it's like that's
and then
what
like your
hell
pillow
is.
gets damp.
That's what hell is.
Oh god,
and you
awful.
see like girls will do it all the time, just sopping wet everywhere.
Oh yeah,
and not in the good way,
shaking their head around like a shaggy dog after a storm, just flicking water everywhere. It's like, were you raised in a barn?
Girls who are like, I'm gonna take a shower and then I'm gonna take a nap. I'm like, what kind of monster are you?
I'm like, what kind of priorities do you have? You need to fix them. If you take a shower and then take a nap, come to the dads for advice because your priorities are fucked if you like damp naps.
Old damp naps. I can't even say that.
Damp naps.
Damp naps.
Damp naps.
Damp naps.
Damp naps.
Damp naps.
Damp naps. Damp naps.
Dab on them, Dad. Damp naps.
Just a dab will do you with a dab of ranch. Dabbing for chick shots.
All right, since this has turned into a clusterfuck.
Yeah, this has just turned into an absolute shit show.
Once again, submit to us, www.thedapperdads.com. Everything's on there. If you can't find Google Play, neither can we. So go to the website, and that's the only place it's at. dapperdadspodcast@gmail.com for emails. 402-7-DAPPER. That's 402-732-7737. Call, text, anything, everything.
Literally
Facebook
anything.
Page. Like it and
YouTube channel, subscribe.
Yeah, YouTube. You can see our fucking stupid faces.
You can see my dumb face saying this to you right now. What's up, motherfucker? Subscribe to the channel. Like it. Do some crazy nipple shit with it.
Give us shit and we'll put it somewhere.
If you send shit to the dads, we will put it up on the memorabilia wall. So far, we've got a bag of Migos brand wrap snacks and Comrade Bone Daddy. Give us some cool shit to throw on the wall, and you in turn will be sent some cool shit.
Beautiful. So yeah, we will see you next Friday. Stay happy. Cheer up. Life does get light.
It does get light.
And we love you.
Life is crazy. Be kind.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that.